I would like to take this chance first to respond to some of the issues that he has raised in the House a few minutes ago, or his responses, Mr. Speaker. In the first place, his responses came very late in the day to the House, Mr. Speaker. He tabled his response at 4 p.m. in the evening today, Mr. Speaker. And he should have done it either yesterday evening or this morning, Mr. Speaker, so that the House can get enough time to peruse what he has said, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, one of the grounds that is being accused of Mr. Gachagua'S for impeachment, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of what he calls shareholding, Mr. Speaker. He has said Kenya is a company with shareholding. But in his response, he comes here and tells the House that he did not mean that. What he meant is that he was talking about political parties, Mr. Speaker, and listed the political parties that have formed coalitions within KUTVKENYA, Mr. Speaker, including Ford Kenya, ANC, PA, and all other parties that have formed what is called the KUTVKENYA coalition, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to contradict what he said by saying that political parties are national in nature. Ford Kenya is a national party. ANC is a national party. All the political parties that formed a coalition with Kenya Kwanza are political parties that are of national, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in this country, under the Constitution, you are not allowed to form a tribal party. You are not allowed to form a religious political party, Mr. Speaker. You are not allowed to form a Mulima political party, Mr. Speaker. That is very clear in the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. And if the Deputy President is not aware of that, I can read out for him, Mr. Speaker. Under Article, Mr. Speaker, 91, every political party shall have national character as prescribed by an Act of Parliament, have democratically elected governing body, Mr. Speaker. And it also says in Part 2, a political party shall not be founded on a religious, linguistic, racial, ethnic, gender, or regional basis, Mr. Speaker, or seek to engage in advocacy of hatred, like he does sometimes, on any such basis, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you cannot equate political parties to what the Deputy President has been propagating for the last 2 years in this country, Mr. Speaker. The Deputy President has told Kenyans in no uncertain terms that Kenya is a shareholding company.
Order, honorable members.
And if you do not vote, for Kenya Kwanza, you do not have any shares, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Yegon, and your team. Ngong.
Mr. Speaker, members now are excited because they are not happy with the response the Deputy President has given them. Now they want to vote and go home. I know what they are doing. I know, but let's prosecute the matter. We have to respond to the issues he has brought to the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, political parties are not equal to regional and ethnic, conglomerations that the Deputy President has been advocating for the last 2 years, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to give him a good example like ODM. ODM has sent the other day 6 experts under the broad-based government, Mr. Speaker. 6 experts. Where are those experts coming from? One is from the coast. Beatrice School is from Turkana. Oparanya is from Western. The Attorney General is from Kisumu. Mr. Speaker, when he's speaking about 30% of Ford Kenya and 30% of ANC, he thinks those positions were given to lawyers as a community, Mr. Speaker. When Ford Kenya is a national party, those positions belong to members of Ford Kenya who are in Mombasa, who are in Migori, who are in Kakamega, who are in Bungoma, who are in Eldoret. Ford Kenya has membership in all the country, has membership, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, that ground is not, he cannot controvert that ground by saying that he was talking about the power sharing within Kenya Kwanza. No, he was talking about ethnic groups, Mr. Speaker. He said this government was formed by 2 ethnic groups, and that's how they are going to share power, Mr. Speaker. So that ground stands, Mr. Speaker, and that ground is impeachable, Mr. Speaker, on the Deputy President. The other issue, Mr. Speaker, I want to respond to that he has raised here, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of national security. He said that NSIS, Mr. Speaker, can be called out whenever they are out of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the man deputy president sits in the National Security Council, Mr. Speaker. He doesn't need to call out any government organ in the streets, Mr. Speaker, like the people who do their things in the streets, Mr. Speaker. He's a man who sits in every governance organ of this country, Mr. Speaker. All organs of government, all governing organs are also oversighted by committee of this House, Mr. Speaker. What happens, Mr. Speaker, in this country if every member of parliament goes out there castigating governing bodies and constitutionally created bodies of governance, Mr. Speaker? We are going to have anarchy in this country. Mr. Speaker, I am not convinced that he has answered in any way that question as to why he was castigating bodies like the NSIS and the police out there when he's the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. On that ground, Mr. Speaker, I feel he's impeachable on that, Mr. Speaker. He has not given us any sufficient answer to that question, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of Justice Maina. He said that he was not attacking her because of the judgment she rendered against him, Mr. Speaker. And he said that he had filed a petition with the Judicial Service Commission, Mr. Speaker. He who wants equity must come with clean hands. You cannot castigate a judge in the rallies, in burials, and then you want JSC to listen to you. You can't have both ways. If he wanted JSC to deal with that matter, if he was unhappy with the way the judge has handled his case, Mr. Speaker, he should not have castigated her in a burial, Mr. Speaker. He should not have talked about her in a very demeaning manner, Mr. Speaker. He should have kept his cool and filed his petition with the Judicial Service Commission, Mr. Speaker. On that account, Mr. Speaker, he has failed the leadership and integrity, Mr. Speaker, under the Integrity Act, Mr. Speaker, and on that account, he is impeachable, Mr. Speaker. My last point, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of the renovation of his house in Karen, or the official residence of the Deputy President Karen, Mr. Speaker. You remember the Deputy President, when he was assuming office, when he was taking oath of office at Kasarani, Mr. Speaker, the way he lectured us, the way he told us that they have inherited empty coffers, Mr. Speaker. There is no money in this country. The former regime has looted and gone with everything, and goes ahead after 2 months to renovate his house, his official residence, with over 100 million, 45 million shillings, Mr. Speaker. Imetoka wapi, Mr. Speaker? Where has that money come from? Where has that money come from? He has not convinced us in any way how that money was spent, how those companies were paid, and on that account, Mr. Speaker, because of misuse of public resources, he is impeachable on that account also, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. When we gave ourselves the new constitution in 2010, we knew very well that we were coming from an era where we cannot impeach the president, we cannot impeach ministers, we cannot impeach the deputy president. Kenyans gave themselves the new constitution, and they put in there Article 150, knowing very well that one day they will hold their leaders, the president, the deputy president, accountable, Mr. Speaker. And they gave that mandate to this House, Mr. Speaker, and the Senate, Parliament in general, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I was shocked under the public participation, people saying that Kufa Makanga, Kufa driver, Mr. Speaker. We cannot allow the driver to die because it is an issue. We are witnessing a situation where the Makanga wants to take the steering by force. And what happens after that? The driver is carrying 55 million Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. We cannot allow the driver to die because 55 million Kenyans are going to die with him. But the Makanga, who is just hanging at the door there of the matatu, can go, Mr. Speaker. If he misbehaves, Mr. Speaker. And, if he's not doing his work properly, Mr. Speaker, the easier one to go first is the Makanga, because the Makanga is the one who should be telling the driver what to do. And they're telling us here, Kufa Makanga, Kufa driver. The petition of the driver is not with us in this parliament. The petition we have, the motion we have before us today is the motion of the Makanga. And we are going to deal with him perpendicularly. and thoroughly, Mr. Speaker, this afternoon. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the House that us, the people of the minority, the Azimio people, Mr. Speaker, we have lived like orphans in this country for the last 2 years. Why do I say so? Mr. Speaker, we are taxpayers. Some of the places that contribute to the highest taxes in this country are areas that are dominated by Azimio people. And then somebody comes here and tells me, you are not a shareholder, you are not going to get services, you are not going to get development. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Does the taxes that are paid by the Azimio people count for nothing, Mr. Speaker? And it is coming from the high office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is the time we are going to correct this thing so that it never happens again. So that we don't have another Deputy President who comes later. Because when we impeach this one, another one is going to be appointed. This is a lesson to the next one. That if you misbehave, we will just take you through this Gachagua'S, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by saying this. Let us not personalize this. We don't have any ill will. We don't have any bad faith. We don't have anything that we are holding against the persona of Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, Mr. Speaker. We are dealing with the office of the Deputy President currently occupied by one Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, Mr. Speaker. The office holder. And let us not personalize. The office does not belong to him, does not belong to anybody. This is a constitutional office, and the Constitution has prescribed how to deal with you when you misbehave in that office, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, for Kenya to become cohesive, Rigathi must do what? Rigathi must? For Kenya to become cohesive.
Okay, give him 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker.
Give him 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I was telling members, for Kenya to unite, Rigathi must. For Kenya to prosper, Rigathi must. For Kenya to have unity, Rigathi must. For shareholding to end in Kenya, Rigathi must. For us to have a peaceful country, Rigathi must. Thank you very much. That is the mood, and that is what we are going to do.
Thank you, Kimani Ichung'wah.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, when the Honorable Ekomas Mutuse, the member for Kibwezi West, approached me with the impeachment motion, Honorable Speaker, I took some time not just to go through the grounds that he had stipulated for the impeachment of the Deputy President, but also to reflect on what Honorable Mutuse was asking me, not just as a member of parliament for Kikuyu and leader of majority party in this house to do, but also took time to reflect and ask the Almighty God to guide me and give me wisdom to do the right thing. Honorable Speaker, I pray to God that the Almighty God may give me wisdom to do that which is right. And not just what is right, Honorable Speaker, but also what is just. Just to the outgoing Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, but also just, more importantly, just to the people of Kenya who turned out in their numbers in 2022 to vote in a government that they believed would create cohesion and unity and offer them opportunities to excel and prosper as a people. Honorable Speaker, as I prayed for wisdom, I was also conscious that what is right is not always easy. And what is right is not always popular. And being a son of the mountain, representing people of the Mount Kenya region, Honorable Speaker, it was clear to me that what may be popular today may not be right. And that is why I asked God to give me the wisdom to do that what is right, Honorable Speaker. And I am here today to do what is right for the people of Kenya. I am here to do what is right, not just for the people of Mount Kenya. I am here to do what is right, the greater good of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Speaker. And that is why I rise to support this impeachment motion, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, having listened to Honorable Mutuse and all the grounds, and having looked at the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, and I would beg for us to look at Article 150 on the removal of a deputy president, the reasons as to why you may remove a deputy president from office. The first one is on the ground of physical or mental incapacity to perform the functions of that office. We have no capacity to determine the physical and mental capacity of the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. But on impeachment as a second ground, the first ground is on the ground of a gross violation of a provision of this Constitution or any other law. The question that begs is whether one Rigathi Geoffrey Gachagua has contravened or has grossly violated one provision of our Constitution. And I think the Honorable Ekomas Mutuse was able to demonstrate this morning that Rigathi Gachagua has violated not one, but over 8 provisions of our Constitution, which I agree with the Honorable Mutuse. And for that reason, Rigathi Gachagua ought and must be impeached today. The second ground, Honorable Speaker, is where there are serious reasons. And Senior Counsel Otiende Amolo went to great length this morning to explain what serious, when you believe there are serious reasons that the Deputy President has committed a crime under national or international law. Honorable Speaker, behind the veneer of humility that you have seen here this evening, behind the veneer of humility that Kenyans saw on national TVs on Sunday, pretending to apologize, is a dark face of violence. Is a dark face, Honorable Speaker, that is a great danger to our nationhood, a great danger to the unity of our republic, Honorable Speaker, a danger to the cohesive existence of our nation as we see it today, Honorable Speaker. On the first ground, Honorable Speaker, on the remark of Serikali ni kampuni, it pains me, Honorable Speaker, as I say, not just as leader of majority, but as a member of parliament of Kikuyu constituency, and also as a son of the mountain, where I come from. That, Honorable Speaker, today, the community I come from is being depicted as a community that is entitled and privileged. We are a community, Honorable Speaker, that has love for other Kenyans and other communities in our republic. We are a community that is known for our hard work and resilience, not for entitlement. We are a community that is peace-loving and that believes in the unity of one indivisible nation and Republic of Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua does not believe in an indivisible country. He believes in parochial, selfish, regional and sectarian interests. And for that reason, Honorable Speaker, we ought and we should impeach the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. Honorable Speaker, we need to ask ourselves as honorable members of parliament, who took an oath of office, Honorable Speaker, and we swore in the name of the Almighty God that we would obey, respect, uphold, protect and defend this Constitution. And today, Honorable Speaker, what we are being asked to do is to recall those words of the oath of office that we all took either with the Bible or with the Holy Quran in our right hands, Honorable Speaker, that for a man who has grossly violated our Constitution, whether we will stand up today to be counted as protecting and defending this Constitution by sending home one Rigathi Gachagua, Honorable Speaker. I want to say I rise to the occasion today to do what is right and to reaffirm that oath that I took with the Bible in my right hand, to obey, to defend, and to protect this Constitution that we all sought to defend. And I call upon all of you, honorable members, to defend this Constitution. Honorable members, for Kenyans around the country who watched in disbelief as the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua went to great length, and the Honorable Otiende Amolo told us this morning, if you have to spend 2 hours on national TV to defend corruption and tell the world how you are not corrupt, you are definitely corrupt. Honorable Speaker, the Deputy President with his legal team submitted their defense late at 4 p.m. this afternoon, imagining that we will not have the time to go through this voluminous document. If you go through what Rigathi Gachagua was telling you here, on Olive Garden Hotel, he claims that this hotel was sold by executors to a third party. Honorable Speaker, if you peruse through the documents, the third party that is said to have bought this hotel, Honorable Speaker, and allow me, Honorable Speaker, first to tell you that the joint executors of will of the late Governor Nderitu Gachagua were Rigathi Gachagua, Advocate Njoroge Regeru, and one Mr. Mwai, who was said to have been his great friend, Mwai Madenge. And Honorable Speaker, if you read the report filed in court by the joint will executors, filed on the 27th of June this year, it says in the report that the joint will executors will make decisions independently of the beneficiaries and without influence from any beneficiary, except for one who is both a beneficiary and an executor. The joint will executors does not have the same attributes and mandates as for trustees, where beneficiaries would play a part assisting in decision making. What this is saying, Honorable Speaker, a document filed in court, is that Rigathi Gachagua, as a joint will executor, was also a beneficiary of the estate of his late brother. He was not only a joint will executor, he was also a beneficiary, and he was also a purchaser for value of the estate of his late brother. Olive Gardens is said to have been sold to one gentleman that many of us know, the Honorable Gishimu Givenji, the member for Gishugu, will tell you that the gentleman who is listed here as a purchaser for value for Olive Gardens, one Peterson Njomo Mushira, was a candidate in Gishugu constituency. He is a direct proxy of one Rigathi Geoffrey Gachagua. And Honorable Speaker, I must confess, and I am sorry to my friend Peterson because I know him. I just called him this afternoon when I saw this document, and I asked him whether TM Civil Engineering Limited is his company, and he confirmed to me it is indeed his company. I therefore want to tell you Olive Gardens was purchased through the proxy of Peterson Jomo Mushira with 0 shares and TM Civil Engineering Limited with 6,000 shares. Those who have visited the Annex House, the office of the Deputy President, know this Njomo is a permanent fixture in the office of the Deputy President. and therefore his direct proxy. Honorable Speaker, we are also told, Honorable Speaker, that these very hard-working young Kenyans, in the names of Keith Ikino Rigathi and Kevin Gachagua'S, who are listed on the CR12 of the documents that were tabled this afternoon by Rigathi, are shareholders of Vipingo Beach Resort that owns the Vipingo property in Kilifi County, the one the Honorable Chonga was speaking about. Rigathi Gachagua told Kenyans on national TV that this property is still owned by the family and therefore is still part of the estate. Keith Ikino and Kevin Gachagua, his sons, were not joint will executors of the estate of Nderitu Gachagua. And the owners who are listed on this CR12 is Keith Ikino Rigathi, Kevin Gachagua Rigathi, and the estate of the deceased James Nderitu Gachagua. It is a rather ingenious way of trying to hide behind the estate of his late brother. And how shameful, Honorable Speaker, that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya would hide behind the veil of the estate of his late brother to disguise what is outright proceeds of crime, because he is the purchaser of this property, and that is why his two sons are listed as directors and shareholders of Vipingo Beach Resort. But he was on national TV telling Kenyans, this is a property that belongs to the family, and we have decided to keep it. This is a House of Records, Honorable Speaker, and it is good we gave the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua an opportunity to be heard so that we can expose his lies in broad daylight or this early in the evening. And I want to tell Kenyans and all of you members, save this country from this dark face, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Save this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, because of time, I know there was alluding, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the time this company, Vipingo Beach Resort, was formed, it was founded on 5th August 2008. I would guess if Keith Gachagua is 31 years old today, at the time this company was registered, he was only 15 years old or 14 years old. He cannot have been listed as a director. His younger brother must have been 12 or 13. For heaven's sake, Deputy President, give some credit. Honorable Speaker, we also had the issue of shareholding, Honorable Speaker. And we were told that in our coalition agreement, Honorable Speaker, and you are then the leader of Ford Kenya, and you know you never subscribed to shareholding in our coalition agreements within Kenya Kwanza. Anybody who subscribed to the Kenya Kwanza coalition was subscribing not to shares, but to an ideology, a shared ideology, not shareholding, as Rigathi Gachagua wants Kenyans to believe. Honorable Speaker, let me finish by saying, Honorable Speaker, that the mountain is intact. The mountain is intact. The mountain is intact. The mountain is intact. The mountain is named after Kenya because it belongs to all the people of Kenya. We must end ethnic balkanization.
Give him another 2-3 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying to conclude, to end the balkanization of our country into ethnic fiefdoms under the control of warlords, we must send Rigathi Gachagua home today. To end divisive politics in our country, Rigathi must. To end the culture of impunity, conflict of interest, abuse of office, state capture, and corruption in high office. Rigathi must. For accountability, for there to be integrity in the political governance of our country. Rigathi Gachagua must. For leaders in high office to bear policy and political responsibility. Rigathi Gachagua must. For national unity, for the fight against to bear fruit, for peace and prosperity of our nation as one indivisible whole, one nation under one flag, one people who love their country, who love peace, who want to see a cohesive and working government serving them. Rigathi must. Rigathi must. I submit. Rigathi must go.
Thank you. Order. Honorable members, order. The honorable mover has donated his time as follows. Charles Nguna, CNN, you'll start with 2 minutes. Omboko Milemba will follow with 3 minutes. Peter Kaluma will follow with 10 minutes, and then he himself 15 minutes. So, CNN, Charles Nguna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me thank the Kenyans who just expressed their views during public participation on this matter, Mr. Speaker. And to add this, I keenly followed and listened to the Deputy President yesterday, His Excellency. And Mr. Speaker, based on all what is said, we saw a lot of differences, rifts, contradictions, divisions, which are totally eminent we are going to have in future, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is inevitable that we are going to have battleground between His Excellency the DP and His Excellency the President. And when the bulls fight, Mr. Speaker, grass suffers, Mr. Speaker. And it's that's why I'm saying that if we continue keeping one of them in the office, Mr. Speaker, Kenyans are going to suffer most, Mr. Speaker. And based on my wisdom for prosperity and also for development, for what we call prosperity and patriotism, and for us to live in an amicable manner and peaceful manner, Mr. Speaker, we have to separate the two bulls, Mr. Speaker. And the motion today, it is for Rigathi to go, not for William Samoei Ruto. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Omboko Milemba.
Honorable Speaker, there's a question which makes me stand to speak on. And I want Kenyans and possibly the members who can listen to me to realize that one issue that has not been answered consistently is the question of chairs. Yesterday I listened to the Deputy President and today also. Whenever he's asked about chairs, Honorable
Members,
Speaker,
can we reduce our levels of conversation?
thank you, Honorable Speaker. Whenever he's asked about the issue of chairs, he picks ANC party agreement and Ford Kenya party agreement. And instead of answering that question, he hides in it. Finally, Honorable Speaker, I'm now holding the reply by Honorable Gachagua, and on page 333, the agreement is annexed. And I want to demonstrate to this parliament that what you have been told was wrong. Because that agreement does not talk about just power sharing for a region. He has avoided intentionally to read the entire paragraph, which says that the sharing of the political parties will also depending further on the need to achieve an inclusive government that reflects the face of Kenya, including the need to accommodate the representation of any future member party and all regions of Kenya. He avoided to read that and therefore gives an impression that there was a power-sharing agreement which only confined ANC party to Western only, when ANC party is a national party. Look at this, Honorable Speaker. The only member of the ANC party we nominated was Honorable Dena Hamisi, who comes from Kwale and not Western. So this is an issue which has not been tackled. Two, he is unable to deal with Senior Counsel Tienda Molo's assertion in the morning that how would you elevate the agreements of a political party beyond the Constitution of Kenya. It's very important that as you make your decision, you get that this was a false lie. Finally, Honorable Speaker, in all this we have seen all the techniques of card stacking, of propaganda, which include card stacking, emotional appeal, branding, and that's why we have seen the name of the president being dragged in this matter today. I think the motion on the floor is for the makanga, it's not for the driver. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
I have been advised by the mover that Lillian Kogo will take 2 minutes and Kaluma 8 minutes instead of 10. Lillian Kogo.
I thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, and I want to thank all the members who have contributed to this motion. I rise to support. I had not given my voice to it, but Honorable Speaker, as you were speaking earlier, Honorable Speaker, I believe the Honorable Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya was following the proceedings of this House. And one of the matters, Honorable Speaker, that came out so clearly, Honorable Speaker, was the insult on women, Honorable Speaker. Women form a substantive position in this country's national development, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I expected that when the Deputy President came to this House, he was going to address this matter on a special way, Honorable Speaker. But I did not listen. I did not hear him. I did not hear the Deputy Speaker say when, where, how. The Deputy President, sorry. I did not hear the Deputy President, one Honorable Gachagua'S, answer to the question of saying that one noble member of this House, the Honorable Jematia, is a Malaya, Honorable Speaker. It concerns me, and I wanted the Honorable Gachagua'S to tell this House where, how, when, who witnessed him sleep with one Jematia and how he felt. We wanted to know, because we are not going to allow women to be used with derogatory language moving forward, Honorable Speaker. It is nobody's choice to be a Malaya. These are mothers. It is nobody's choice to be a Malaya. These are our sisters. It is not...
Time up. Peter Kaluma. Peter Kaluma. Peter Kaluma. Honorable members.
I thank you. Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I thank you in a very special way. Honorable Speaker, I have this benefit of speaking after listening both to the mover of the motion and to the Deputy President, who is the subject matter of this motion. And so, Honorable Speaker, I can look at it from all perspectives. Honorable Speaker, allow me to start by saying that I listened to the Deputy President, as I did to Honorable Mutuse, with the mind of a lawyer, looking at how the grounds have been addressed, their particulars, and how they have been addressed by the two respective parties. And Honorable Speaker, let me begin by saying that I don't know what happened, but we had Honorable Mutuse presented before this assembly a motion seeking to impeach the Deputy President on up to 11 grounds. And Honorable Speaker, I don't know whether it is by act of omission or commission, or it is just the nature of some people. The Deputy President focused on those matters concerning property, money, integrity, procurement, forgetting the most fundamental issues. And I want to say that even when he addressed those money issues, there are very patent gaps going to constitutional violations which are stated in the motion to be gross. I expected the Deputy President, for instance, to use the opportunity you accorded him, Honorable Speaker, to explain that SMS which came from his son Ikunu Gachagua on the bid bond issue involving that company. No mention of that at all. Honorable Speaker, before I go to the matters I want to address in substance, let me thank you, the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, for ensuring that the process this House is going through has been very fair. And in doing so, Honorable Speaker, for according and upholding and protecting the provisions of Article 47 of the Constitution. I hear people still saying that the courts will intervene. But I'm thanking you for this, Honorable Speaker, because the only time the courts intervene is if we have not secured a party procedural fairness. This motion was advertised across the country for the participation of Kenyans. And Honorable Speaker, allow me to reiterate this short data in 1 minute. 146,429 Kenyans said that the Deputy President should be impeached. And that, Honorable Speaker, constitutes 65.11% of the people of Kenyans. 76,026 of Kenyans said the Deputy President should not be impeached, coming to 33.8% of those Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, 2,452 Kenyans said Kufa Makanga, Kufa Dereva, and those other things, the others. And Honorable Speaker, in terms of our constituency, which is Homa Bay Town constituency, 1,080 Kenyans whom I represent said the Deputy President should be impeached. And Honorable Speaker, that constitutes 89.81% of the population of the people of Homa Bay who are duly notified. 54 Kenyans in Homa Bay Town constituency, constituting 5%, said the Deputy President should not be impeached. And then 56, which is another percentage there, said other things, including Kufa driver, Kufa Makanga. Honorable Speaker, let me clarify this other issue also. That the courts have persistently and consistently said that public participation must be meaningful. If public participation should be meaningful, and Honorable Speaker, you made it so open, at the county headquarters involving all constituencies, and then all constituency offices remained open on that day, and you notified it to the public, Honorable Speaker, following that order of court, then really, there is nothing much for us to continue debating here. If public participation is to be meaningful, then the Kenyans have spoken. And as their representatives, we can only give meaning to what they say during public participation by securing what they have said, which is that the Deputy President should be impeached. Honorable Speaker, because I'm running fast, let me say that this Constitution has been termed a living document. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at ground one, people take it lightly. But Honorable Speaker, the idea of the unity of our nation has been the one thing which has been disturbing the people of Kenya in terms of being a nation for very long. Honorable Speaker, allow me to read the preamble of the Constitution. And this is what it says. We, the people of Kenya, proud of our ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity, and determined to live in peace and unity as one indivisible, sovereign nation. When the Kenyans were making this constitution, they identified the need for unity as one people, as one thing they had to deal with. Honorable Speaker, I request the members to look at Article 4, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution. It says Kenya is a multi-party democratic state founded on the national values and principles of governance under Article 10 of the Constitution. And Honorable Speaker, people have said so many things about this Constitution. But let me say today, before this House, Honorable Speaker, that Article 10 of the Constitution, if this spirit has a soul, if this Constitution has a spirit, then you can only find it in Article 10 of the Constitution. At Article 10, Sub-Article 2, those national values which were identified by the people of Kenya during constitution making as the things which Kenya needs to address are the following, Honorable Speaker. Patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy and participation of the people, human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination, and protection of the marginalized. Honorable Speaker, at the very heart of a nation is equal ownership and equal sharing in the resources of the nation. It cannot be therefore, Honorable Speaker, that a state officer at the level of the Deputy President is singing to other Kenyans how they are shareholders and they don't belong to this country. And Honorable Speaker, it saddens me that having given him the opportunity, the Deputy President did not proffer defense, the Deputy President did not offer an apology, but the Deputy President said other people are also doing it. Honorable Speaker, let me say an impeachment motion proceeds in personam. It proceeds against a specific person. You may say Kufa Dereva, Kufa Makanga.
Give him 1 minute to wind up. Wind up, Kaluma.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, it does not matter. This motion we have is against a person. You cannot have a motion for impeachment against Kaluma and somebody. Those who are saying Kufa driver, Kufa Makamba, bring the driver and we will also consider it on the merit. And on account of that, Honorable Speaker, this person must go. Honorable Speaker, in the few seconds remaining, let me say that when Westgate came under attack, I lost a cousin in the name of Jackton Port. He was the first one to be shot there. When Garissa University came under attack, Honorable Speaker, I lost Solomon Oludo from Marindi, a son of our land I educated at Ubiero Primary School. Honorable Speaker, we have no problem holding the security apparatus of the nation, to account. But Honorable Speaker, we cannot have a situation where you talk that recklessly in public about our national intelligence service being dysfunctional. For a state which is permanently under terror, target, and attack. And by the way, in the Security Committee, each minute we are fighting terrorists. You cannot speak that way and come back and say it is normal. Honorable Speaker, how can you be a principal assistant to the president when each time the president leaves the country, you are organizing rallies to incite ethnic animosity against your own government? Honorable Speaker, how can you be a principal assistant to His Excellency the President when the President is having a press conference in Nairobi and you are having a separate one instead of standing with him to calm the nation from Mombasa to say that the President, in fact, there is a problem and is a dysfunction in government?
Time up. Mutuse, you have 15 minutes.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin my reply to the motion, please allow me to table additional documents, being a newspaper advert that was placed by His Excellency the Deputy President in today's newspapers, and also the video recording of his speech yesterday because they are material to these proceedings.
Go ahead. Request granted.
Mr. Speaker, I have tabled the two documents, electronic and physical, because during the course of this debate, members in many instances had referred to them, and therefore it is only fair that they are part of the record. Number two, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank...
The documents were available to me earlier, and I ruled that they are admitted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I want to be very brief because I know the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya wants to make a decision on the matter of impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Mr. Speaker, to begin with is to thank colleague members of Parliament from both sides of the House for the robust debate in terms of the motion that we presented before the House this morning. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank Kenyans in their millions from all over the Republic, because in the course of this debate, Kenyans have been commending, Kenyans have been exercising their democratic right through public participation, through their right to odd opinions, and we have not witnessed a single incident of violence anywhere in the Republic. There had been vitisho that if you table an impeachment motion for a person of the magnitude of the Deputy President, there may be violence, people will lose lives. But I thank Kenyans because Kenyans have proven once again that we are a peaceful country and we are able to engage in our democratic processes without violence. Mr. Speaker, allow me to re-examine some of the few issues that have come through the response. First is to let Kenyans know that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has filed a response of 501 pages, and the response has come at 4 p.m. and I was only able to be given the response about an hour ago. And therefore, in terms of the doctrine of equality of arms, I feel that I needed adequate time so that I may be able, during my reply, to respond to some of the things that he has raised in his response. However, be that as it may, I want to refer members to page 99 of his response. In the morning, I did tell members that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua has acquired properties through corruption and through money laundering. And when he has come before this House, he has told you that the hotel that he acquired in Nyeri was acquired through a loan. However, the only document exhibited as evidence of that loan is a letter of offer from Credit Bank Limited. There is no evidence exhibited by Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, the current Deputy President, to the effect that the loan was actually finalized, to the effect that he actually got the loan. Mr. Speaker, the term of the letter of offer in terms of lien and set-off, and I read, a lien and set-off of a fixed deposits of LN Crystal Kenya Limited for an aggregate amount of 300 million Kenya shillings. Interest accrued shall be credited to your deposit settlement account. Mr. Speaker, in simple terms, what this means is that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua had a fixed amount in cash of 300 million in his account, which was going to be used as a security. I asked Mr. Rigathi Gachagua to tell us where he had gotten this 300 million if my allegations that he is laundering money are not true. And therefore, by virtue of his response, it confirms my assertions that he has monies, he has wealth, he has cash that is suspect. If you may give me my phone. In terms of whether Kenya is a company or not.
Do you want information from member for West Mugirango?
Yes, you may.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the Honorable Mutuse
that the director for Credit Bank Kenya Limited is one Grace Nyachai, who hails from Nyeri and is a relative of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and therefore I say no more.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is important for this House to note that in the morning, I did present evidence of suspicious money transactions. I did present evidence that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, either by himself or through relatives or through proxies, has acquired properties that are way beyond his known sources of income, and that evidence remains uncontroverted. Turning, Mr. Speaker, to the issue of whether Kenya is a company owned by shareholders. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua is playing with the intelligence of members of parliament and with the intelligence of Kenyans by attempting to twist facts. First, in terms of the law, companies are registered under the Companies Act. They are not registered under the Political Parties Act. So to come before Kenyans and to say that there were coalition agreements registered and therefore those coalition agreements are companies is to play around with our intelligence, because we know companies are registered under the Companies Act, they are not registered under the Political Parties Act. Further, Mr. Speaker, this Rigathi Gachagua was selectively chosen the sections of the Kenya Kwanza's coalition agreement to rely on, and he has failed to read the document in whole. Under clause 20 of the Kenya Kwanza coalition agreement, that clause provides as follows: that there is need to achieve an inclusive government that reflects the face of Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua chose not to tell us that the coalition agreement also talked about the face of Kenya and not a company of some people to the exclusion of others. Clause 6 of the Kenya Kwanza coalition agreement provides for respect for constitutionalism. The articles of the Constitution that stated. It provides for respect to the rule of law. It provides for respect to the national values and principles of government under Article 10. And it provides for respect to devolution. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua did not tell us that. Clause 22G of the coalition agreement among the Kenya Kwanza political parties provides that there will be adjustments that may be necessary to accommodate the development priorities of other parts of the country to ensure equitable distribution of Kenya's national resources and wealth for the benefit of every citizen and every part of Kenya. This Mr. Rigathi Gachagua could not tell you because it was going to destroy his case. And therefore, honorable members, I urge you to find that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, in his assertions about shareholding and a company, it was not in reference to political parties, it was in reference to regions, it was in reference to communities, and the evidence that we provided remains uncontroverted, and this ground must be confirmed. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of KEMSA, again, to show a man who is a flip-flop, yesterday on live television, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua admitted that he personally called Dr. Andrew Mulwa by his own phone yesterday on television. Today, appearing before us, he denies that he did not call him. So, which part of his testimony do we believe? Do we believe the testimony that he gave yesterday on national television, that he did call Dr. Andrew Mulwa, and that he sent his own son to Dr. Andrew Mulwa to collect the bid bond? Or do we believe the testimony that he has brought today, altered testimony that he has brought today? I urge you to find that Mr. Rigathi Gachagua indeed did call to influence investigations. On the issue of cabinet, Mr. Speaker, if you may allow me just 1 minute. On the issue of cabinet resolution, he has admitted and proceeded to justify that despite the existence of a valid cabinet decision in a cabinet meeting that he sat, he chose to defy that cabinet decision. And for that reason, Mr. Gachagua, by his own admission, must be removed from government. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, This is the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. And for the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya to assert its constitutional authority, Mr. Gachagua'S must be impeached today. I urge members. Mr. Gachagua'S, we have heard from members here, has made inflammatory remarks against the women of the Republic. For the respect of the women of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Gachagua'S must be impeached today. We have heard that Mr. Gachagua'S has disinherited the widows of his own brother. And for the widows of Kenya, beginning from Madeira, to be safe, Mr. Gachagua'S must be impeached today. And therefore, I urge members to find favor with my motion from clause 1 to clause 11. And as you vote to impeach Mr. Gachagua'S. I thank you, Mr. Speaker,
I beg to move.
and I beg to move.
Thank you. Honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Take your seats. Take your seats. Brighton, take your seats. Today you are very mobile. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, Honorable Jeho, take your seat. Honorable members, we are coming to the end of this motion. And before I put the question, this is one motion where there is no voice vote. We'll go straight into division. There are no ayes have it at the putting of the question. The House Business Committee yesterday deliberated on the manner of voting, and it was unanimously agreed that there will be a roll call vote. There will be a roll call vote. That being the case, we should be done, if we are orderly, we should be done in the next 30 minutes to 40 minutes, maximum 1 hour. When we start voting, order, when we start voting, I'll instruct the clerk and the teller, having conducted yourselves exemplarily well, any member who precedes his or her vote with a preamble or a speech or a statement will be a spoiled vote. Once you are called, order, the vote is simply yes or no. Time for speeches have extinguished in the debate. I now put the question. Of course, there are always three: yes, no, abstention. Order, member for West Mugirango. There's nothing out of order. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that, pursuant to the provisions of Articles 145 and 151B and 2 of the Constitution and Standing Order 64 and 65, this House resolves to remove from office by impeachment His Excellency Honorable Gachagua'S, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, on the following grounds. 1. Gross violation of Articles 10(2)A and B and C, 27(4), 73(1)A, 2 and B, 75(1)C, 129(2) of the Constitution, and Article 147(1), read together with Article 131(2)C and D of the Constitution. 2. Gross violation of Articles 147(1) and 52(1) of the Constitution by undermining the President and the Cabinet and the effective discharge of the national government executive mandate. 3. Gross violation of Articles 6.2, 10.2a, 174, 186.1, 189.1, and the 4th schedule to the Constitution by undermining devolution. 4. Gross violation of Article 161 of the Constitution on the institutional and decisional independence of judges. 5. Gross violation of Articles 3.1 and 148.5a of the Constitution on the fidelity to the oath of office and allegiance. 6. Serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes under Sections 31A and 62 of the National Cohesion and Integration Act. 7. Serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed gross economic crimes under Sections 45.1, 46, 47A3, and 48.1 of the Anti-Corruption and Economic Crimes Act and Sections 2, 3, 4, and 7 of the Proceeds of Crime and Anti-Money Laundering Act. 8. Serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes by continuously misleading members of the public through false, malicious, divisive, and insightful remarks that are contrary to the provisions of Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. 9. Gross misconduct that is incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President, a member of the Cabinet and the National Security Council. His Excellency the Deputy President has publicly attacked and undermined the work of the National Intelligence Service and its officers. 10. Gross misconduct by openly or publicly insubordinating the President, who is the head of state and government. And 11. Gross misconduct by persistently bullying state and public officers. I now direct that the division bell be rung for 5 minutes. Then thereafter, we will go into voting process. As we do so, can the whips give a... Yes, Jeanette?
Mr. Speaker, I propose that only the whips should be allowed to go out of the chambers, Mr. Speaker. The rest should remain seated. Yeah. Only the whips should be allowed to go out, Mr. Speaker. The rest of the members can sit and hold their things on the. That's the rule. That's the rule.
Good evening. If you're just tuning in, the National Assembly has been debating the special motion by the Honorable Member Mwengi Mutuse on the proposed removal by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The Honorable Member in the special motion did advance 11 accusations against the Deputy President, and among them his gross violation of Articles 10, Subarticle 2A, B, and C, Article 27, Subarticle 4, Article 73, Subarticle 1A, Article 2B, Article 75, 1C, Article 129, Subarticle 2 of the Constitution, and Article 147, Subarticle 1, as read together with Article 131, Subarticle 2C and D of the Constitution, that the Deputy President has persistently made utterances threatening to discriminate, exclude, and unlawfully deny sections of the people of Kenya and regions of the Republic of Kenya equal opportunities for public service appointments and allocation of public resources. Another charge is that the Deputy President has made unilateral public statements inconsistent with policy positions collectively adopted by the government and contradicted the President on critical matters of governance and the exercise of the President's functions as a symbol of national unity. That is, Excellency, the Deputy President interfered with the running of Nairobi City County Government by inciting citizens against lawful directives of the county government on the planning and relocation of markets and publicly disparaging the leadership of the county government and its decisions. Charge 4, that His Excellency the Deputy President has undermined the institutional and decisional independence of a judge through public attacks on a judge of the High Court of Kenya and falsely threatening to file a petition for the removal of the said judge in a matter in which he was a party. Another charge is that the Deputy President breached his oath of office and allegiance on account of the utterances and actions attributed to the Deputy President under grounds 1, 2, and 3. Charge 6, that the Deputy President has persistently made inflammatory, reckless, insightful public utterances over the last 2 years in contravention of the law. Charge 7, that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed gross economic crimes, namely conflict of interest, abuse of office, and conspiracy to commit crimes under sections by inexplicably amassing property estimated at 5.2 billion shillings, that is incompatible with his non-legitimate income, and by trading with the office of the Deputy President through proxies. Another charge is serious reasons to believe that His Excellency the Deputy President has committed crimes by continuously misleading members of the public through false, malicious, divisive, and insightful remarks that are contrary to the provisions of Section 132 of the Penal Code and Section 29 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. Charge 9, gross misconduct that is incompatible with the high calling and dignified status of the office of the Deputy President, a member of the Cabinet and the National Security Council. His Excellency the Deputy President has publicly attacked and undermined the work of the National Intelligence Service and its officers. Charge 10, gross misconduct by openly or publicly insubordinating the President, who is the head of state and government. And charge 11, gross misconduct by persistently bullying state and public officers. The Deputy President was some minutes after 5 p.m. given the opportunity by the National Assembly to defend himself against these 11 allegations that have been leveled in this special motion which the members of the National Assembly have been debating today. And right now, the respective leadership in the House is whipping members to come into the chambers to allow the division to proceed. Remember that this requires more than 200 or at least 233 members of the National Assembly voting in affirmative, and they will be doing so through a roll call. Standing Order 65 Standing Order 65
Honorable members, take your seats. Whips, you are satisfied your members are all in the house? Take your seats. Okay. You have 2 minutes. Members who are on their feet, take your seats. Thank you.
Standing Order 65 of the National Assembly provides for the procedure for removal of the Deputy President. And it says that where a member proposes the removal of the Deputy President on the grounds of physical or mental incapacity in terms of Article 150, Sub-Article 1A of the Constitution, Standing Order 63, which talks about procedure for removal of President on grounds of incapacity, shall, with necessary modifications, apply. It
Take your seats, honorable members. Osoro and Millie, are all your troops in the house? I want to draw the bar. Draw the bar. Take your seats. Honorable members, you may take your seats now. Honorable Dani Wanyama, take your seat. Honorable Minority Whip, take your seat. Honorable members, I have been given the following as whips, as tellers. For the ayes, the Honorable Zaire Janda MP and the Honorable Jared Okello MP. For the nays, the Honorable Onesmus Ngogoyo and Honorable Jane Njeri. You may come forward and join the clerks at the table. Now the voting order, the voting will be as follows. Order. We will start by calling out the Honorable Samal, member for Isiolo. Is it West? Isiolo North. You all know Honorable Samal has a condition and he needs to be assisted. So the clerk and the tellers will go to where he is. The clerk and one on either side go and take Honorable Samal's vote. Once you are done, the constituencies are numbered alphabetically from A to Z. So we'll start with probably Ainamoi is normally the first, and we'll end up with the last. Pardon? Yes. Okay, Njoroge, take the vote of Honorable Samal, Honorable Kosge, and Honorable Wanyonyi. Then go alphabetically for everybody else. And when voting is going on, members, you must remain in your seats. You must remain silent and let the process go on uninterrupted, the same way you have been orderly the whole day. Of course, I put the question. Pardon? Yes? Toto has already indicated to the clerks that she'll wait and vote like everybody else. So she's not in a special case. Is Mother Wangari also lactating? I didn't know that. Now, clerk, those who are supporting the motion are voting yes. Those who are not are voting no. The tellers are, as I've told you, for yes, Jan and Okello, for no's, Kasheri and Gogoyo. Clerk, over to you.
Voting starts now. Isiolo North, Lomwa Joseph Samal. Westlands, Wetangula Timothy Wanyonyi. Nominated member, Jackson Kosgei Kipkemoi. Who will go there? Go.
I, Tim Wanyonyi, Member of Parliament for Westlands, I vote no. I vote yes. I vote yes.
Order, honorable members. He has voted yes. Order.
I, Jackson Kipkemoi Koskei, nominated Member of Parliament, I vote yes.
Yes. I'll stop them. You are done with Honorable Samal? You can't talk. Honorable members, for the rest of the members, when your name is called, don't repeat your name. Just vote yes or no. Okay, go ahead, Njoroge.
Ainab Koi. Samuel Chepkonga. Aina Moi, Benjamin Langat. Aldai, Marian Kitani. Alego Usonga, Samuel Atandi. Awendo, John Walter Owino. Bahati, Ain Joki. Balambala, Shurie Abdi Omar. Baringo County, Florence Jamatia. Baringo Central, Joshua Kandie. Baringo North, Joseph Maglap. Baringo South, Charles Cameron. Belgut, Nelson Koech. Bobasi, Innocent Obiri. Bobasi, Innocent Obiri. Bamachoge Borabu, Nolfason Obadia. Bamachoge Chache, Alpha Miruka Ondieki. Bomet County, Lynette Chepkori Roto. Bomet Central, Richard Cheriot Kilel. Bomet East, Richard Kipkemoi Yegon. Bonchari Charles Onchoke. Bonchari Charles Onchoke.
Is voted yes.
Bondo Gideon Ochanda. Borabu Patrick Osero. Budalangi Raphael Sauti Bita Wanjala. Bomula Nelson Jack Wamboka. Bungoma Kadri Nanjala Wabilianga. Bura Kuno Yakub Ado. Bureti Kibet Kirui Komingoi. Busia County Omanyo Kadri Nahambi. Omanyo Kadri Nahambi. Butere Nicholas Tindi Mwale. Butula Joseph Oyula. Buuri Muruidhania Rindikiri Mugambi. Central Imenti Moses Nguchine Kirima. Central Imenti Moses Kirima Nguchine. Changamwe Omar Mwinyi. Chibalungu Victor Kipngetich Koech. Cherangani Patrick Simiyu Barasa. Cherangani Patrick Simiyu Barasa. Chesumei Paul Biego. Chuka Iganga Ngombe Patrick Ntwega Munene. Dadab Farama Alim. Dagoretti North Beatrice Elachi. Dagoretti South John Kerry Waweru. Eldama Ravin Musa Sirma. Eldas Adan Kenan. Elgeyo Marakwet County Ngerechei Jepto Caroline. Embakasi Central Gadhiro Majadonk Benjamin. Embakasi East Babu Owino Ongili. Embakasi East Babu Owino Ongili. Embakasi North James Gachagua'S. Embakasi South Julius Mawade. Embakasi West Mark Samuel Mwenje Mureithi. Embakasi West Mark Samuel Mwenje Mureithi. Embu County Double N Pamela Njoki. Mgwen. No. No. Mgwen. Lelmengit Joseph Gipto. Emuhaya Omboko Milemba. Emura Dikir Johanna Ngeno. Endembes Robert Pukoso. Fafi Yakub Farah. Funyula Oundo Wilberforce. Galole Said Buya Hiribae Said Poster. Ganze Charo Kenneth Tungule. Garissa County Udgon Amina Siad. Garissa Township Major Deko Baro. Garsen Ali Warioguyo. Katanga Wakili Mureu. Gatondo North Kururia Njoroge. Gatondo North Kururia Njoroge. Gatondo South Gabriel Gaduka Kagombe. Gem Elisha Odhiambo. Gichugu Robert Gichimu. Gilgil Mother Wangari Wanjira. Gilgil Mother Wangari Wanjira. Gilgil Mother Wangari Wanjira. Githunguri Gathoni wa Muchomba. Hamisi Charles Gumini Gimose. Homa Bay County Bensuda Joyce Osogo.
Pardon? Take the vote again. Order Bensuda utaitwa tena.
Homa Bay Town.
Order members, order.
Homa Bay Town. George Peter Kaluma. Igembe Central. Daniel Karido Kili. Igembe North. Taitumu Julius. Igembe South. John Paul Mwirigi. Ijara Abdi Ali Abdi. Ikolomani Shinali Bernard. Isiolo County Mumina Bonaya. Isiolo North, Isiolo South Bidu Tubi Mohammed. Jomvu Badibadi Twalib. George Koimburi. Kabete James Gedua wa Mashukuru. Kabete James Gedua wa Mashukuru. Kabondo Kasipul Ivo Bara. Kabuchai Kalasinga Joseph. Kacheliba Lote Titus. Kacheliba Lote Titus. Kaiti Joshua Kivinda Kimilu. Kaiti Joshua Kivinda Kimilu. Kaiti Joshua Kivinda Kimilu. Kajiado County Lea Sankaire. Kajiado County Lea Sankaire. Kajiado Central Memusi Elijah. Kajiado East Kakuta Maimai. Kajiado North Onesimus Ngogoyo. Kajiado South Parashina Samuel Sakimba. Kajiado West Sunkuya George. Kakamega County Elsie Muhanda. Kaloleni Paul Katana, Kamukonji Hassan Yusuf, Kamukonji Hassan Yusuf, Kamukonji Hassan Yusuf, Kandara Chege Njuguna, Kandui John Makali, Kangema Peter Kihungi, Kagundo Fabian Chule, Kapenguria Samuel Moroto, Kapsaret Oscar Sudi, Kapsaret Oscar Sudi,
Karachuonyo Okwome Andrew Adipo, Kasarani Karauri Ronald Kamwiko, Kasipul Were Charles Ongondo, Kathiani Mbui Robert, Keyo North Korir Adams Kipsanai, Keyo South Kipkoech Gideon Kimayo, Kericho Kemei Beatrice Chemweno, Keses Ruto Julius Kipleting, Keses Kuisero Wangaya Christopher Aseka, Kiamba Wanjiko John Jogona, Kiambu Waidaka John Mashua, Kiambu Waidaka John Mashua,
Kiambu Town. It's not here.
Kiambu Murada Ann Wajiko Mugo, Kibra Orero Peter Ochien, Kibwezi Mbalu Jessica Nduku Kiko, Kibwezi West Mutuse Ekomas Mwengi, Kieni Wainaina Anthony Njoroge, Kieni Wainaina Anthony Njoroge, Kigumo Munyoro Joseph Kamau, Keharu Nyoro Samson Dindi, Kikuyu Ishungwa Anthony Kimani, Kilgoris Sunkuli Julius Lekakeny, Kilifi Mwanyanje Gertrude Mbeyu, Kilifi North Baya Owen Ya, Kilifi South Kiti Richard Ken Chonga, Kilome Zambia Thaddeus Kithua, Kimilili Mutua Didmas Wekesa Barasa, Kiminini Bisao Morris Kakai, Kinango Rai Samuel Gonzi, Gonzi Rai, Kinangop Thuku Zakari Kwenya, voted. Is voted. Kipipiri Muhia Wanjiko, Kipkelion East Cheroro Joseph Kimutai, Kipkelion West Hilary Kiplangat Koske, Kirinyaga Jen Jerry Maina, Kirinyaga Central Gitari Joseph Gashoki, Kirinyaga Central Joseph Gashoki Getari. Kisauni Bedzimba Rashid Juma. Kisi Donya Doris Aburi. Kisumu Busia Ruth Adhiambo Odinga. Kisumu Central Oron Joshua Odongo. Kisumu East Ahmed Shakil Ahmed Shabir. Yes. Kisumu West Rosa Akinyebuyu. Kitui Irene Modoni Kasalu. Kitui East Nimrod Miduka Mbai. Kitui Central Makali Benson Mulu. Kitui Rural Mboni David Mwalika. Nyamai Rachel Kaki Kitui South. Edith Vethi Nyanze Kitui West. Mokaya Nyakundi Jafet Kitutu Chache North. I will repeat from Kitui South, Rachel Kaki Nyamai.
She voted.
Yes. Nyanza Edith Vethi.
She voted.
Nyakundi Jafeth Mokaya. I vote yes. Kibagendi Anthony. Kitutu Chache South.
No, Kibagendi amesema? Kibagendi kama Kibagendi.
Kitutu Chache South, Kibagendi Anthony. Clive Kitutu Masabak, Clive Ombane Gisairo. Konoin Brighton Leonard Yegon. Kuresoi North Mutai Alfred Kibrono. Kuresoi North. Okay. Joseph Kipkoske Tanui, Kuresoi South. Okay. Kuria East, Masairo Marwa Kitayama. Kuria West, Robi Matthias Nyamabe. Kwale, Masito Fatuma Hamisi. Kwanza, Wanyonyi Ferdinand Kevin. Lafi, Abdurrahman Mohammed Abdi. Lakdera, Mohammed Abdikadir Hussein. Laikipia, Jane Wangeshi Kagiri. Laikipia East, Festus Mwangi Kionjuri. Laikipia North, Sarah Paulata Korere. Ndio. Laikipia West, Stephen Washira Karani. Laisamis, Joseph Lekuton. Lamu, Monica Mudoni Marufu. Lamu East, Obor Weida Muhammad. Lamu West, Modama Stanley Moiruri. Langata, Felix Odiwor Kode. Kahangara, Larry, Joseph Mburu Kahangara. Likoni, Mishi Juma Hamisi Mboko. Likuyani, Innocent Maino Mugabe. Limuru, John Kiragu Shege. Loima, Akuja Protas Ewesiti. Luanda, Dick Maungu Oyugi. Thank you. Nabii Nabwera Daraja Lugari. Lunga Chiforomondo Mangale Munga. Lurambi Titus Hamala Mkhwana. Maara, Jafet Miriti Kareke Mbiuki. Machakos, Joyce Kamene. Machakos Town, Caleb Mutiso Mule. Okay. Yeah, but George Aladwa Omwera Makadara. Makweni Kiamba Susan Dunge. Makweni Women Rep Mumo Rose Museo. Absent. Can I repeat? Makweni Mumo Rose Museo. Malava Moses Malulu Injendi. Malindi Amina Laura Munyazi. Mandera North Abdullahi Bashir Sheikh. Mandera Umul Kasim Sheikh. Mandera East Abdurrahman Hussein Wetan Muhammad. Mandera South Abdul Ibrahim Haro. Mandera West Yusuf Adan Haji. Manyata John Gitonga Mwaniki Mukunji. Maragwa Mary Wamaua Waidira Njoroge. Marakwet East David Kangogo Bowen. Marakwet West Timothy Kipchumba Toroitich. Marsabit Naomi Jilo Wako. Masinga Mwalio Joshua Mbithi Mutua. Masinga Joshua Mbithi Mutua Mwalio. Matayos Geoffrey Makoha Modanga. Madare Anthony Oluoch. Madioya Edwin Mugo Gishoki. Okay. Madira Kahugu Eric Mwangi. Matuga Tandaza Kasim Sawa. Okay. Matungu Nabulindo Peter Oscar. Is there. Yeah, Tandaza is there. Can I repeat Matuga? Matuga Tandaza Kasim Sawa. Okay, asante. Matungulu Mule Stephen Mutinda. Mavoko Kingola Patrick Makau. Mbera North Geoffrey Kariuki Kiringa. Mbera South Nebat Bernard Murioki. Mboni Nzioka Erastus Kivasu. Meru Kailemia Elizabeth Karab. Migori Mohammed Fatuma Zainab. Mogotio Kiborek Ruben. Moiben Phyllis Chepkemoy Barto. Molo Francis Kuria Kimani. Mombasa Zamzam Muhammad Chimba. Mosob Abraham Kipsang Kirwa. Moyale Jaldesa Guyo Wako. Msambweni Jaldesa. Okay, capture, thank you. Msambweni Badr Salim Faisal. Mount Elgon Fred Kapondi Chesebe. Muhoroni James Onyango Oyo. Mukorweini Gishoi Kagusha John Philip. Mumias East Salasia Peter Kalerwa. Mumias West, Naika Johnson Manya. Moranga, Betty Njeri Maina. Mvita, Mohamed Saud Machele. Mwala, Musau Vincent Musyoka. Okay, done. Mwatate, Peter Mbogo Shake. Peter Mbogo Shake. Thank you. Mwea, Mary Maingi. Mwingi Central, Gideon Muteme Muliungi. Mwingi North, Paul Musimi Nzengu. Mwingi West, Charles Ngusi Anguna. Nairobi City, Esther Mudhoni Pasaris. Naivasha, Kihara Jane Wanjiru Njeri. Nakuru, Chelule. Can I repeat Naivasha? Kihara Jane Wanjiru Njeri. Nakuru, Liza Chepkorir Chelule. Nakuru Town East, Gikaria David. Nakuru Town West, Arama Samuel. Nambale Mulanya Geoffrey Ekesa. Nandi Cynthia Chepkoske Muge. Nandi Hills, Bernard Kibor Kitur. Narok, Rebecca Nonaishi Tonke. Narok East, Lemanken Aramat. Narok North, Agnes Mantaine Pareye. Narok South, Olentutu Kitilai. Narok West, Gabriel Koshal Tongoyo. Navajolo, Emmanuel Wangwe. Ndaragwa, Gachagua George N. Ndiwa, Martin Peter Sowino. Ndia, GK George Masharia Kariuki. Njoro, Charity Katambi Chepkwony. North Hor, Guyo Adi Wario. North Imenti, Abdul Rahim Dawood. North Mogirango, Joash Nyamache Nyamoko. Nyakach, Joshua Aduma War. Nyali, Mohammed Ali Mohammed. Nyamira, Jerusha Momanyi Mongina.
Mohammed Ali is here.
Yes, he's voted. I repeat, Nyamira, Jerusha Momanyi Mongina. Thank you. Nyandarua, Gitao Faith Wairemo. Nyando, Okelo Jared Odoyo.
Nyando votes yes.
Yaribari Chache, Zahid Janda.
Yes.
Yaribari Masaba, Daniel Ogwoka Manduku. Nyatike, Tom Boya Odege. Nyeri, Rahab Mokami Washira. Nyeri Town, Duncan Maina Madenge. Oljororok, Moshira Michael Mwangi. Olkalau, David Joguna Kiaraho. Odaya, Michael Wambogo Wainaina. Pokot South, David Losiakau Kosing. Rabai, Mupe Anthony Kenga. I have been asked to repeat Pokot South,
He said yes.
Pokot South, Kosing David Losiakau. Thank you. Rabai Anthony Kenga Mupe. Rangwe Gogo Linian Achieng. Rarieda Amolo Paul Otiende. Rongai Paul Kibetchebor. Rongo Paul Abur. Roysambu Agustin Kamade Mwafrika. Ruaraka Francis Kajwang Tom Joseph. Roiro Kingara Simon Nganga. Runyenjes Karemba Eric Muchangi Njiru. Sabatia Sloya Clement Logova. Saboti Caleb Amisi Luyai. Saku Raso Dido Ali. Samburu Pauline Lenguris. Samburu East Jackson Lekumuntare Lentoijoni. Samburu North Dominic Eli Letipila. Samburu West Josephine Naisula Lesuda. Seme James Wambura Nyikal. Shinyalu Frederick Lusuli Ikana. Siaya Odwor Christine Ombaka. Sigor Peter Lochakapong. Sigor Awetsoin Justice Kipsang Kemei. Sirisia John Waluke Koi. Sotik Francis Kipiegon Arab Sige. South Imenti Idinji Shadrach Mwiti. South Mogirango Onyego Silvana Sosoro. Soy David Kiplagat. Starehe Maina Mwago Amos. Suba North Millie Grace Akoto Diambo. Suba South Karoli Omondi. Subukia Kashobe Samuel Kenudia. Suna East Mohammed Junaid Sheikh Nu. Suna West Peter Francis Masara. Taita Taveta Lydia Haika Mnene Mizigi. Tana River Amina Dika Abdullahi. Tarbaj Hussein Abdibare. Taveta John Okano Bwire. Teso North Edward Kaunya Oku. Teso South, can I repeat Teso North? Oku Edward Kaunya. Thank you. Teso North, Oku Edward Kaunya.
Yeah, yes, what?
Sorry, Teso South, Otucho Mary Emase. Tetu, Geoffrey Wandeto Mwangi. Daraka, Murugara George Gitonga. Daraka Nithi, Susan Ngugi Nduyo. Thika Town, Nganga Alice Wamboi. Tiati, William Kamket Kasait. Tigania East, Lawrence Puruaburi. Tigania West, John Kanwidhia Motunga. Tinderet, Julius Melikibiwot. Tongaren, John Murumba Chikati. Transoia, Lilian Chebetsiyoy. Tarbo, Janet Chepkemboy Sitiene. Turkana, Cecilia Asinyen Gitit. Turkana Central, Joseph Namwar Emathe. Turkana East, Nicholas Ngikor Nixon Ngikolong. Turkana North, Paul Ekwom Nabuin.
Is there?
Yeah. Okay. Turkana South, John Ariko Namoit. Turkana West, Daniel Epuyo Nanok. Wasingishu, Gladys Chepkoskei Boss. Ugenya, Ochieng David Ouma. Uriri, Nyamita Mark Ogola. Vihiga, Kagesi Kivai Ernest Ogesi. Vihiga, Adagala Beatrice Kahai. Voi, Hamis Chome Abdi. Wajir, Fatuma Abdi Jeho. Wajir West, Aden Daudi Muhammad. Wajir North, Ibrahim Abdi Sane. Wajir South, Muhammad Aden Ado. Wajir West, Yusuf Muhammad Farah. Webuye East, Martin Pepela Wanyoni. Webuye West, Daniel Wanyamasitati. West Mogirango, Mogaka Stephen. West Pokot, Rael Chepkemoy Kasiwai. Westlands, Timothy.
He is already voted.
Oh, sorry, we have done that, sorry. Undanyi, Mwakuona Danson Mwashako. Basil Robert Ngui Yata. Yata.
Is he here?
Ali Abdisirat Halif. Sabina Wanjiru Shege. Joseph Hamisi Dena. My vote, yes. Joseph Hamisi Dena. Okay. Suleka Hulbale Harun. Dorothy Mudoni Kiara. Joseph Wainaina Iraya. Irene. Joseph Wainaina Iraya.
He's voted.
Okay. Yes. Irene Nyakerario Mayaka. Umulher Harun Muhammad. Teresia Wanjiro Mwangi. No. Abubakar Ahmed Tali. Yeah. Abubakar Talib. Thank you.
You finished? Honorable members, order. Is there any member present who has not had his or her name called out?
Is there?
Yes.
Good evening. You are watching the sitting of the National Assembly this evening, where the members have been voting on the voted this evening.
Right. Good evening. So that is the live proceedings there, the impeachment motion of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Remember, this is now the voting stage, and after this, it will be known if Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will survive this by the motion in the National Assembly, or the motion will proceed to the Senate. So let me bring you up to speed with what is happening, and in regard with the ouster motion, what is required by the Constitution as stipulated under Article 150 that talks about the removal of Deputy President from office in regard to the President, because the process are just similar with a few adjustments. Now, remember, last week on Tuesday, the Kibwezi West Member of Parliament, that is Mwingi Mwitise, filed a petition, or rather presented a motion in the National Assembly seeking to impeach Deputy President. Then there was a discussion, and of course 291 members of Parliament penned their signature to the motion in support of the motion. Then it proceeded to the public participation. That is what we witnessed Friday last week, where members of Parliament were given opportunity to make their presentation either in form of written or verbal, as the case that we witnessed. Then from there, the motion now proceeded today now for the members of the National Assembly to discuss and see if the grounds under which the 11 grounds that Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is accused of will actually proceed, and of course if it stand the legal requirement that is required, and of course if indeed he's guilty as presented by the motion mover. And of course today now members of Parliament currently are voting. Remember, they are burning the midnight oil to make sure that this constitutional process as required by the law is seen to the full end of it. So from here, whatever the outcome that we are still waiting to see what will happen, then from there, then the Speaker of the National Assembly will communicate to the Speaker of the Senate, giving further direction. Then the Senate will form a special committee constituting of 11 members. From there, the members will then proceed for a fact-finding mission to see if the grounds under which Deputy President is accused of is actually true or false. Then they will report within 10 days. Then from there, the Deputy President will be given a chance either in person or through representative to make his case and of course defend himself. From there, then as required, 2/3 of the member of the National Assembly will then vote to the motion to either impeach or uphold. If they impeach Deputy President, then by the Constitution, he ceases to hold office. So what are some of the options available for Deputy President after the National Assembly passes the impeachment motion, and of course the Senate follow the suit? Now, the only way, the legal way that probably the only option remaining for Deputy President is the legal way, where he can present his case to a court of law to argue, under which of course is required by the Constitution. If he fails to win that particular case, then by there, then Deputy President will automatically cease to hold public office, and now that will be a double beating, because by the virtue, if you are impeached, then that means that holding a public office might take quite a while for you, and that is something that we'll wait and see how the event will unpan. Remember, the Deputy President is being accused of gross misconduct, corruption, and of course some are just political issues. If you ask me, that is not respecting the Deputy President, his boss, and of course probably some of the utterances that he may have made during his tenure, during his very short stint as a Deputy President. Remember, currently it is 2 years of his service, or rather serving as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Some have accused him, some of the accusation that he is facing currently is being tribal. Remember, this will be muchly associated with the shareholding sentiments that he made in regard with who gets what under what, and based on your contribution, where this is according to the agreement that is by the words of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, that if you invested in this government of Kenya Kwanza, then by the virtue of being a stakeholder, you are entitled to some goodies in terms of benefits, and that can be translated to appointments in very key positions in government, and of course state parastatals, and that is what many perceive to be, by the virtue of being the deputy president, he holds that the symbol of national unity. And those are some of the grounds under which deputy president is currently being vetted, and of course the ones that are forming the basis of this impeachment motion. Deputy President defendant appeared before the members of the National Assembly to make his case heard, and of course in one simple term, in every accusation and allegation that he was accused of, the answer was pretty simple: not guilty. So, was the members of parliament convinced with his response in regard to some of the accusations? Remember, 11 accusations were leveled against him, all of which he pleaded not guilty. So we are waiting to see the outcome of the voting, if indeed he will survive, or maybe the road to his unceremonious exit from the prestigious position of the most second powerful man in the land will be a thing of the past. Will he make history as the first deputy president under the Constitution of 2010 to have ever been shown the exit door at a very early stages of his role as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya? That is a question for now that we can't tell. Only time will tell, and we're still waiting for that particular proceedings, and of course we'll bring you up to speed with what is happening, because there is something that touches on the fabric and the fundamental core of the leadership of our Republic of Kenya, and of course it's something that we're following closely. As soon as things pan out, we'll be taking you back there to the National Assembly to bring you up to speed with what to expect. But first thing first, we still have a couple of stories here, and of course, right to it, let's give you an introduction of what we have highlighted for you this day. All right.
This is KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
Now, the motion to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua kicked off today with the mover of the motion, Gachagua'S West Member of Parliament, tabling his submission before the House. And as Dennis Monyi explains in the following report, prospects of corruption featured prominently in Gachagua'S ouster motion. In his submission, Mutuse alleged that the 22 properties referred in his motion were acquired through a conflict of interest in government-related businesses.
Gachagua'S West Member of Parliament Mwangi Mutuse has today tabled documents and videos as evidence to the 100-page motion tabled against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua 7 days ago. In his submissions, Mutuse accused Gachagua of gross violations of the Constitution, promoting ethnic discrimination and undermining national unity through divisive public statement, contradicting government policies, and failing to uphold his duties as Deputy President, particularly in relation to collective cabinet responsibility. Mutuse listed the acquisition of Treetops Hotels and Alice, Olive Gardens Hotel, Queen's Apartment and Wamunyoro Enterprises, and Vipingo Garden Beach Resort among questionable additions to Gachagua'S asset.
It is also known by virtue of the gazettements by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission that he earns $1 million or thereabout per month, and therefore he needs to show where he got the money to amass these properties. Mr. Speaker, in my motion, I have listed a total of 22 companies. 22 companies that I believe the Deputy President has been using, number one, to amass, to award himself through conflict of interest, businesses in his office and in government. And number two, to purchase properties using unexplained sources of income.
He cautioned members of parliament from Gachagua'S arguments that some properties belong to his late brother Derito Gachagua and accused Gachagua of coercing the sale of his late brother's property over the last 2 years. He also questioned Gachagua'S statement about transferring his companies to his son. He reportedly secured a shilling 600 million loan.
That yesterday, during the televised interview, the Deputy President went through all the companies and they did not deny that either of them belongs to him. All he did was to say that he registered some of them before he became Deputy President. Mr. Speaker, you will be told by the defense that some of the properties that I've listed do not belong to Rigathi Gachagua, but they belong to the estate of Derito Gachagua. Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, it is true that he was one of the administrators of the estate of his late brother. It is easy to hide under the dead because the dead cannot come to give evidence.
The Deputy President is also accused of making false and malicious statements which breach both the Penal Code and the Leadership and Integrity Act. His submissions further cites gross misconduct, including reckless attacks on the National Intelligence Service, insubordination to the President, bullying public officers, and involvement in corrupt practices.
And one day they walked into a bank and they got a loan of 600 million.
All right, now let's cross over to the National Assembly and see the live proceedings about the impeachment motion as the results are being counted.
4. Abstentions 1. And the ayes 281.
Come forward. Order. Take your seats. Order, members. Order. The House is still in session. Tellers, take your seats. Bensouda, take your seat. Order, members. Order. Members, the results of the division on the motion are as follows. Abstentions 1. The noes 44. The ayes 281. So the ayes have it. And the results brought to the Speaker are duly signed by all the 4 nominated tellers. Honourable members, I have a short communication following that. Order, order. The House is still in session. I have the following communication to make, honourable members, before we open the bar. On the decision of the National Assembly, on the special motion on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Honourable members, as I had guided the House earlier in today's sitting, Article 145(2) of the Constitution sets a threshold of at least 2/3 of the members of the National Assembly to vote in support of a special motion for proposed removal by impeachment of the Deputy President of the Republic for the motion to be carried. According to the results of the division on the motion that I've just declared, a total of 281 members, being more than two-thirds of the members of the National Assembly, have voted in support of the motion. Article 145(2)(a) of the Constitution provides that, I quote, if a motion under Clause 1 is supported by at least two-thirds of all members of the National Assembly, the Speaker shall inform the Speaker of the Senate of the resolution within 2 days. In this regard, I'll proceed to discharge the singular duty placed on me by Article 145(2)(b) of the Constitution and under which to notify the Speaker of the Senate of the resolution of the National Assembly. The clerk is directed to prepare the necessary documentations to accompany the resolution. The House will resume tomorrow, Wednesday, 9th October 2024, at 9:30 a.m. to resume with the regular business as scheduled by the House Business Committee. I thank you. Members, will you now be upstanding? Draw the bar. Draw the bar. Open the doors. Order, honorable members. Order. Order. Order, order, members. The House will now be adjourned until tomorrow, 9:30 a.m.
Right, it's now official that the members of the National Assembly unanimously, that is at least 281 members, have voted in motion in support of the motion to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Then abstention was 144, voted no. And now, as required by law, the Speaker of the National Assembly will communicate within 2 days to the Speaker of the Senate to inform him of the resolution of the National Assembly as required by the law. Now, the baton will be now passed to the Senate, and of course this is where the Speaker of the National Assembly will have to form at least 11-member committee to investigate the 11 allegations leveled against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, then report their findings within 10 days. Then from there, the Deputy President will have an opportunity to defend himself before the Senate, and of course, if the Senate finds Deputy President guilty of charges leveled against him, well, the Deputy President ceases to hold the office as required by the law. But don't forget, the Deputy President still has a chance to fight for his life in the through legal way, that is through the court. And of course now, as far as the National Assembly is concerned, it's done and dusted. 281, that's a staggering number, have voted in favor of the motion to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Whatever happens from now, well, it's something that we'll observe in quite, with a lot of honesty, and of course to see what will happen. And of course we'll be tilting our lenses in the in the Senate, and of course to follow the proceedings as required by law. Remember, the communication should be done within 2 days after the resolution of the National Assembly has been made, of which today the commencement date begins today. And of course the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula, is expected to communicate the resolution of the National Assembly in regard to the impeachment motion of Deputy President to the Speaker of the Senate, that is Amason Kingi. And of course, from there, now all eyes will be on the Senate. Will they be able to save Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, or will they follow the same suit of the National Assembly and of course impeach the Deputy President? The threshold as required by the law is the 2/3. So something that you are keen and eager to see how the event will pan out. Now let's proceed with some of our stories, and of course this is in regard to the process of the impeachment. Now, members of the so let me just pose a simple question. So what does it take to impeach a sitting deputy president? And of course, for impeachment motion of deputy president to take place, to succeed, both the National Assembly and the Senate must approve the proceedings, of course, through vote supported by at least 2/3 of the members of the Senate. And of course, our very own Diana Nashpai gives us a rundown of what it legally required to ouster a deputy president from office.
Mr. Speaker, our standing
impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has caught the country's attention, being the first one of its kind in the country, with a number of Kenyans insisting that if Gachagua has to go, then his boss has to go as well. There is a number also who defend their position despite the 11 charges presented against him. For the impeachment to sail through the National Assembly, at least 233 MPs, constituting 1/3 of the Assembly, must vote in favor of the motion. Subsequently, the Speaker of the National Assembly will notify the Speaker of the Senate of his resolution within 2 days.
Minutes. Sergeant at Arms, can you proceed?
Within 7 days, the Speaker of the Senate must convey a session to address the charges against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The Senate will then appoint a special committee of 11 members to investigate them. After reviewing the allegations, at least 23 senators must vote to uphold the impeachment charges for the Deputy President to be removed from office. If the Deputy President impeachment motion is passed through the MPs and Senate, the Deputy President has a chance to file for a petition in High Court. If the impeachment is passed by the High Court, then the President will have to appoint a new Deputy President. Should the impeachment succeed, Gachagua will no longer be able to hold office or vie for any political seat, marking a significant shift in Kenya's leadership. His political journey and legacy hang in the balance as the nation watches closely. Diana Nashpai, KUTV.
Now let's take a look at what happened in the National Assembly. Now, members of Parliament spent the better part of Tuesday discussing the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, tabled by Kibwezi West Member of Parliament, Commerce Mwengi Mutise. Mutise, you earlier today, of course, moved the motion before the August House, accompanied by a series of videos played before the National Assembly in a bid to solidify his grounds of impeachment against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Listen in.
5th of October, the year being 2024.
As members of Parliament sat in the House today to discuss the impeachment motion against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, a majority of MPs were of the standing that Deputy President's position be eliminated, with some defending the embattled DP stating lack of evidence on some accusations, terming them as gossip.
I support that the Deputy President be given the opportunity to serve this country.
Rarieda MP, in an attempt to find enough reason to send the DP packing, claimed that the evidence adduced on the KEMSA included an affidavit stating that the DP aimed to interfere and cover procurement irregularities.
The DP admits to abuse of office on the issue of KEMSA. It is important, and this bears repetition, that the evidence tabled by the Honorable Mutuse
Githunguri MP Gathoni wa Mushomba, on the other hand, strongly defended the deputy president against accusations of championing tribalism, stating that everyone has a home in which they come from, terming the allegations against Gachagua as unclarified and contrary to the constitution.
And those that are attacking the deputy president for working on behalf of the Mount Kenya region, they must also accept that everybody has a village where they come from, everybody has a home where they come from, and every good thing starts from Jerusalem, just like Jesus Christ did.
Gachagua also on Tuesday found himself on the receiving end from a section of women who accused him of making derogatory statements against their fellow legislator, allegations which the second in command opted not to respond to while appearing before the House.
Aliita mmoja wetu Mheshimiwa Jematia na kumuita malaya. Unapoita mwanamke yoyote malaya, umeita wamama wote wa Kenya malaya. Sisi si malaya, sisi ni kina mama na sisi ni viongozi. Hatuwezi tukakubali.
Gachagua'S fate as deputy president now hangs in the balance, with legislators expected to vote on whether to send him home or let him complete his term. Emma Mwangi, KUTV.
Regarding Gachagua AGH, the deputy president.
Alright, that story by Emma Mwangi takes us to our first break here on the State of the Nation. Remember, plenty more to follow after the break, including our discussion about the impeachment motion of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, and of course that discussion will be coming to you later on after this very short break. See you in a while.
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
So my name is Jakub. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the CAFE project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Ugonjwa wake wa ngozi ulimbadilishia taaluma.
Nilikuwa na ugonjwa fulani wa ngozi hapa katika mkono wangu. Sasa nikienda hospitali, nikipewa dawa, ninapaka, nikimaliza dawa inarudi. It was very stubborn. Nikipewa dawa, nikipaka, nikimaliza inarudi. Sasa siku moja nilipokuwa tu ofisini nikitoka kwenda lunch, nikampata mama mmoja hapa, alikuwa na stand, alikuwa anauza mafuta ya shea butter. Sasa nikakuwa na interest.
Kutoka kuwa mtaalamu wa bima, sasa Joyce Musyoka ni mtaalamu wa kuunda mafuta ya kiasili. Ungana nami Caroline Kimwele Jumatano hii katika kipindi cha Mwanamke Mwake Mwake kwa uhondo kamili.
Kipindi hewani ni mitindo ya kipwani. Kama ilivyo kipindi hiki kinahusu nyimbo za tarab, chakacha, midwara, midundiko, bila kusahau mapishi. Ambao ndio uti wa mgongo wa pwani ya Afrika Mashariki.
Jamani swahibu zangu mliopo maskani, hatuonani wenzangu, najua mwanitamani.
Hapa KUTV, nahodha mwendesha chombo cha baharini, yani ua linalonukia na kuvutia waridi tamu. Are you healthy, or rather, do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? According to WHO, health is regarded as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Welcome to Focus on Health, a show on all matters health, wellness, and lifestyle. On this show, we cover a wide variety of topics inclusive of, but not limited to, dental, optical, mental, reproductive health, and so much more. Join me, Joy Bofenda, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. on KUTV for compelling insights and discussions on all matters health. See you then.
Focus on Health, your weekly dose of health and wealth information on KUTV.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Auma Evans.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back, and let's continue with our coverage. Now, the Hamas terror attack on Israel last October sparked a conflict that has become the deadliest in recent history for journalists and media workers. At least 116 of them, nearly all Palestinians, have been killed. VOA speaks with the reporters and media analysts about the situation. Take a look.
The October 7 Hamas assault killed 1,200 in Israel. Terrorists kidnapped 251 people. The attack ignited a war that continues to this day. Among the mounting number of civilian deaths are dozens of journalists.
More journalists were killed in the first 10 weeks of the war than have ever been killed in a single country over the course of an entire year.
According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, the death toll as of October 1st is 111 Palestinians, 2 Israelis, and 3 Lebanese journalists.
There is also are very great challenges in terms of access to the story for journalists. And the story is, in my experience, the most polarizing story we've ever had to deal with in my long career as a journalist.
Gachagua'S is a Gaza correspondent for Mondoise. an online publication covering the Palestinian territories, Israel, and U.S. policy. He has lived his entire life in Gaza City.
And every time I was walking under the Israeli drones and warplanes, I was feeling that every second they may bomb me, specifically me, because I know they target journalists and I know they don't want anything from Gaza to get out to the people.
Founded as a progressive news site, KUTVNEWS has faced criticism for what some say are anti-Israeli views. The Israeli government has denied on multiple occasions that it targets journalists, but CPJ and others say the Israel Defense Forces should be accountable for the high immediate death toll. Nearly all those who died are Palestinian.
They're also the only people able to report from Gaza because no foreign journalists have been allowed in. So they bear the full weight of responsibility of reporting on the impact of the war on Gaza.
Injury and death are not the only risks journalists face.
Some of the dangers are not just physical dangers, but there's cyber stalking and harassment and intimidation of journalists.
The United Nations had condemned the attacks on journalists, indicating that there were disturbing reports of attacks against media workers despite being clearly identified. In response to a UN report, the IDF said it does not deliberately shoot at civilians, including journalists. Hajjaj remembers every story he has covered since October 7. Some, he says, were devastating to write, but he knows it's his job to keep reporting on what is happening. With Liam Scott, Cristina Caicedo-Smith, VOA News.
Now, with less than a month to go until the U.S. presidential elections, the Democratic and Republican nominees have a busy week ahead. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are both scheduled to continue rallying supporters in key states. VOA Veronica Balderas Iglesias reports.
Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump was defiant Saturday while addressing his supporters at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. It was the same area where a shooter wounded him in July during an assassination attempt. He stressed that the incident, the first of 2 attempts on his life, only made him more determined to win the presidential election.
Over the past 8 years, those who want to stop us from achieving this future have slandered me, impeached me, indicted me, tried to throw me off the ballot, and who knows, maybe even tried to kill me.
House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican, was asked to comment on Trump's remarks and similar ones made over the weekend by the former president's son, Eric.
I don't think they're saying that the Democratic Party tried an assassination attempt. I think what they're alluding to is what we've all been saying. They have got to turn the rhetoric down.
Meanwhile, Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has been juggling her duties as vice president with her campaign schedule. On Saturday, she was in North Carolina pledging federal support to communities affected by Hurricane Helene. A day earlier, Harris brought attention to the state of the presidential race.
This is going to be a very tight race until the very end.
Democratic Representative Adam Schiff was asked Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press whether he believes Harris and the Democrats can win overwhelmingly in November.
I think she can win overwhelmingly, given how divided the country is. Overwhelming may be winning by 100,000 votes or 80,000 votes in these key battleground states. Young people who were disengaged are now engaged, interested, active, volunteering. So I think we are well poised to win this thing, but it is still scary close.
The vice president will be busy with a series of media engagements this week, including appearances on popular talk shows her campaign announced. She's also expected to campaign in Nevada on Thursday and in Arizona on Friday. The Trump campaign website says the former president will travel to Pennsylvania on Wednesday to give remarks in Scranton and hold a rally that same day in the city of Reading. Veronica Valderas Iglesias, VOA News, Washington.
Right, let's take yet another breather here on KUTV State of the Nation. Remember, we still have plenty more to follow after the break.
I am right here for your sake. Now, today we are going to talk about the beginning of a fall. But not just a fall, it is a fall never to recover. If you spend your time sleeping, na tumesema while you are drunk, your senses are sleeping. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. How are you doing today? I'm well in the Lord. I hope you are well in the Lord. First of all, I'd like to thank our Father in heaven. They say broken things can't be fixed, right? But that's a lie. Genesis chapter 3 verses 8. That evening they heard the Lord God walking in the garden, and they hid from him among the trees. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whomever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Catch me right here only on KUTV every single Sunday.
So my name is Gachagua'S. I'm Associate Professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Ewa Hudoba. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Where we ask the coolest questions in science. Let's go! Is yogurt really just rotten milk? Why do humans need sharks to survive? How did a 12-year-old boy from Africa invent modern vanilla farming? How do you deliver medicine to a chimpanzee? Can poop be useful? How can you save the planet by reducing air pollution? To help us answer these questions, we are inviting some wonderful guests from the world of science. They will enlighten you, make you hungry for knowledge, oxygenate your brain, and make your ideas flow. This is Engine Season 3. Let's go!
Katika maisha yetu ya leo, wakulima na jamii nyingi kwa ujumla wanakumbatia teknolojia mbalimbali na kilimo hai ili kuondoa magonjwa sugu na kuongeza usalama na utoshelevu wa chakula. Mbolea asili imepunguza asidi kwenye udongo na kuongeza mavuno chungu nzima. Wajua tuko shambani, na humu shambani pia kuna ng'ombe, kuna kuku, na wanaacha uchafu wao. Na huo uchafu si wa kutupwa, ni wa kutumika katika kilimo kama mbolea. Kwa sababu mimea hii imekuwa kutumia mbolea ya hawa wanyama. Wakulima mbalimbali wamekumbatia teknolojia ili kuokoa gharama ya ukulima na kutumia nafasi zilizopo katika mashamba yao.
So my name is Gachagua'S. I'm associate professor in the Institute of Philosophy of Jagiellonian University in Krakow, Poland. And I'm the main coordinator of the Cafe project, which is being here hosted by Kenyatta University.
My name is Kutv. I am a project manager in this consortium. Keep watching cutting-edge research at Kenyatta University Television.
Welcome back. It's now time for sporty action. Now, the Football Kenya Federation has officially appointed Patrick Korir as the new interim chief executive officer following the resignation of Barry Otieno. Otieno, who has held the role for the past 5 years, stepped down amid upcoming FKF elections scheduled for December 7th, 2024. Patrick Korir, who previously held the role of Chief Executive Officer of Nairobi City Stars, takes the helm during this transitional period. And Spanish legend Andres Iniesta has announced his retirement from active football at the age of 40. The former Barcelona midfielder, who was instrumental in Spain's triumph at the 2 European Championships and the unforgettable 2010 World Cup, made his mark as a midfielder maestro after debuting for Barca in 2002. Over his 16 years career at the club, Iniesta secured 9 La Liga titles and lifted the Champions League 4 times. After leaving Barcelona in 2018, he continued his journey with Vissel Kobe in Japan and concluded his career with Emirates in the United Arab Kingdom. Alright, so that's where we wrap it. Many thanks for the men and women behind the scene and for all who made this production a success. My good name is Auma Evans. Lucy Kiare has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Until next time, do have a lovely night. See you next time. Same place, same time.